Hello everyone, this is Elonzo. Want to know how to get your first cloud job? Then please register for our webinar. We'll teach you everything that you need to know and answer your questions along the way. Hope to see you there. Hello everyone, this is Elonzo. Want to know how to get your first cloud job? Then please register for our webinar. We'll teach you everything that you need to know and answer your questions along the way. Hope to see you there.
My name is Richard Ferrer, and I can say I am cloud hired.
That yes, come and join and get cloud hired. I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
Hey, Go Cloud Architect family, I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired, guys.
So I'll just say I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired.
I'm cloud hired thanks to Go Cloud Architects.
It worked for me, and now I'm cloud hired.
Because of Google Architect program, I am cloud hired.
See! I am cloud hired. Thank you, Mike and the Glow Cloud team.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Johnson. I am the Chief Operating Officer here at Go Cloud Careers, joined by Mike Gibbs, our founder and CEO, and Alonzo Coleman, our Chief of Content and Experience. So for the individual who just called, we will call you back.
Yeah.
If you are,
we promise.
if you are on the YouTube Live, hopefully, and you just called and we didn't answer, it's because here we are right here. So we will give you a call back. We will do that as soon as we finish. But,
ASAP.
let me just go over, to tell you what we're here for. We're here to answer. Hey, we got another one. Okay, we're gonna we'll call you guys back. We promise.
Promise.
You can also ask your questions here in the chat box. But we set aside time several times a week to come in here and take your questions, answer any questions that you might have about the cloud architect role or the solutions architect role, cloud architect job, cloud engineer job, cloud engineer training, cloud architect training, any questions that you might have about these roles. So don't be shy. Put them in the chat box. I know you've been kind of shy so far. It's only been a couple of minutes, but put them in the chat box. If you want to know how to become a cloud architect or how to become a cloud engineer, or if you want to know what is a cloud architect, we'll answer those questions for you. Make sure you get going in the right direction. So don't hesitate. Don't be shy. Ask those questions. We want to help you reach your goal, whether it's with us or it's on your own. We want to help you. So let me tell you about a couple of things that we've got. We've got we do have our webinar that we do every Thursday, and in this webinar, we will go over everything from why we created our program the way that we did, what cloud architects actually do, what hiring managers are actually looking for in cloud architects, and just in general, what hiring managers are looking for in the ideal candidate. We'll talk about what type of experience really matters. Do you have to have tech experience or cloud architect experience or cloud engineer experience? I'll give you a hint now. No, you don't. But we'll go over how to leverage your experience from seemingly unrelated careers. We'll talk about how to deal with the HR and those crazy job descriptions. I'm sure all of us have come across the entry-level job that requires 5 years of experience, or the engineer job that requires 35 years of Kubernetes experience. All of that. We've seen all these job descriptions. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about and then we'll talk about what you actually need to become the ultimate cloud architect. We'll talk about how we can do it or how you can do it on your own. So make sure to join the webinar. I believe a member of our team, Tyrone, there has put it in the chat box. So make sure you do that. Next, I want to make sure everybody is aware of our AWS exam guide. We've got this updated exam guide, which, by the way, apparently is so good that people are literally copying it and selling it on Amazon.
Thievery.
That was our new weekend. Found our free content on sale on Amazon. We've taken care of it. But apparently, they saw the benefit of the hundreds of contributors and hundreds of years of experience that went into that exam guide that we're giving you for free, and decided to sell it. That's how great they thought it was. So get your free copy from a legitimate source at the link in the chat box and in the description. And while you're at it, Tyrone, if you can make sure to post the link to the corresponding video course for everyone there. That free 10-hour course is available on our YouTube channel. So if Tyrone, you could post that for us as well. Also want to make sure that everyone is following us on LinkedIn, both No Cloud Careers and Mike Gibbs on LinkedIn. If you want to follow me, you can. If you want to follow Alonzo, you're more than welcome. But at least Mike and Go Cloud Careers, because we post most of the things from those two accounts. So make sure you're doing that and staying on top of everything that we have. We've got some really exciting things coming out this week at some point.
Real exciting.
So make sure you're following us. Also, If you enjoy what we're doing here, you can subscribe and hit the notification bells on the YouTube channel. All right, so let me see here. Let me get coordinated. I want to check with everybody. Is there a lag on my end?
So it looks like it's me, but I'm not sure.
Okay. I couldn't tell. There was a lag on me while the countdown was going, and now there's a lag on you. So I wasn't sure if it was me or if it was just the internet in general.
Right now it's Alonzo.
It's interesting because I'm 5 feet away from my modem and everything else. So that's pretty interesting.
All right. Well, let's get to the questions here. All right. While I'm scrolling through the questions, we got Tyrone in the house. Tyrone, hello. Got Oforka. Got a Garesh. I think Garesh was in a webinar or on a YouTube last week. Welcome back if that's the same person. Style Plus says not cloud hired, but I got a network engineer job last week. No certs either. I think that would classify as some type of cloud hired.
Yeah, you are cloud hired.
Yeah. Especially
Style Plus.
In this
virtualized networking and data center, I think that applies.
It sure does. In Style Plus, I can get a network engineer hired on the cloud faster than a 10x AWS certified person every day of the week. So you're getting good experience as a network engineer. Make sure you learn your interior gateway protocols in and out and master BGP and IP addressing and summary, and you're on your way to everything great. Style Plus, give you a little advice on your networking. Don't just learn how to configure, learn how it works, learn how to tune, learn how to optimize. That's going to set you up for something much, much better long-term in the networking world. I love networking. My CCIE number is 747 back when it was a 2-day exam. Before, when it was set, the failure rate was so high, Cisco had to make it easy because too many people complained. Congratulations, you're on your way to a fantastic career.
Even in this economy, well done, Stylus.
Well done.
Yeah.
There's something special about you. Good job.
Yep. And look at that last part. What's that say there?
No certs either.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't hire based on certs. We had Alvin DaCosta, VP at NVIDIA. He's like, I don't care about certs. I care about skills. You didn't have to, those board games that we used to play, like Life and all these winding roads to get to the winner's circle, if you will. That's equivalent to what going on the cert trail is. So we eliminated that. You didn't need them. Your competency spoke more than those certs ever could. We're rooting for you and we're happy for you, Style Plus. In fact, Style Plus, if somebody has more than 3 certifications, I won't waste my time interviewing them because I know they're busy wasting time on certifications as opposed to learning the right skills. 1 or 2 certifications, beautiful, but too many, focused on all the wrong stuff.
All right, let's make sure to get our questions in here. We've got 25 people and 2 questions.
We're ready. Don't be shy. Don't hold back. Let's get going.
All right, Alonzo, I'll let you read off the next one.
All right, Ben Brock, how do I get a job without experience after passing exams? Mike, how can we take our algorithmic stock training program to the cloud?
Okay, so Ben, Alonzo just asked me a very common cloud architect or potentially cloud engineering question. See, in your certification, they taught you the name of a service and how to configure that service. And guess what? Cloud architects don't configure anything. And Ben Brack, if you actually use the name of an AWS service in a meeting with a C-level executive, you'd be escorted out of the room. Unfortunately, you'd be fired. And your replacement would say, thank you for this beautiful new $200,000 job. And mind your way, Ben Brack, we get people hired every single day with 0 experience. So Alonzo asked me this question, and it's a common question you would get, say, in a bank. How do we take our algorithmic trading program into the cloud? Now, Ben, here's the first thing that you would need to ask in that. First, as you can see, there's no part of the AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional that prepares you to answer that question. Secondly, you would need to know about algorithmic training programs. And you would need to understand about storage and latency. So if for example, a chief information officer of a bank said, Mike, how do I take my algorithmic training program to the cloud? I would say to Alonzo, is speed a competitive differentiator for you? If you can hear me. Maybe you can't hear me. Alonzo, is speed a competitive differentiator for you? He's frozen. He can't hear me. Well, anyway, I would ask Alonzo if speed is a competitive differentiator for him. And he would say yes. A nanosecond of performance is worth millions of dollars per year. And if I said, Alonzo, if you move that trading system to the cloud, you're going to lose several milliseconds in terms of latency. And then I might say, you know, Alonzo, well, I'd love to get you to the cloud. Could you tell me about the systems that are running this? And he might say, yes, they have 192 cores, 6 terabytes of DRAM, and 15 million IOPS RAID arrays in them. And I'd say, well, you know, Alonzo, I can't get that kind of performance on the cloud. Because in the cloud, we have block storage. And for example, the limitation of block storage in AWS with an IO1, which is the second fastest drive, is 16,000 IOPS. And in the fastest we can get is 250,000. So there's no way we could equal that level of performance. Why do you want to take this application to the cloud? Because perhaps we should build you a private cloud and connect that to the AWS cloud or the Azure cloud or multi-cloud. So Ben, that's the key. What's actually taught in certification is what you would teach a junior level sysadmin person, which, by the way, typically are outsourced positions to the lowest cost place overseas. So Ben, could you tell me what career you would actually like? Because if it's an architect job, you can join us on Thursday on the How to Get Your First Cloud Architect Job webinar or First Cloud Job webinar. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need. But do not confuse certification with the ability to be hired. I can put a complete AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate and Professional course together for less than 20 hours. Now, don't think I'm going to pay you $200,000 for the training that I could give you inside of 20 hours. Now, what I'm going to pay you as a network architect is, put it in context, the same as a physician's going to earn that's going to take $250,000 of debt. The same as an attorney is going to earn that's going to take $250,000 of debt, plus 7 to 10 years to get there. So the key is you need to get the right skills. Now, I don't exactly know which job you want, but if you're the cloud architect, there's system design skills, there's networking skills, data center skills, business acumen skills, leadership skills, executive presence, emotional intelligence, ROI modeling, and those kind of things. So join us in the free webinar on Thursday, and I'll spend 30 minutes, literally speaking, a full 30 minutes telling you exactly everything that you need to do to get hired. Everything you need to get hired. And we'll make sure you get hired. You know, this year, I got more people hired than I can think about. Almost every day, including now, people are getting hired. And the average salary of our graduates were between $120,000 and $287,000 this year. But none of them, and some of them got hired with 0 certifications. But Ben, I can't tell you anybody that will ever get hired based on certifications alone. Yeah. Because the certifications teach you things, for example, use DynamoDB. Ben, what if I told you probably shouldn't use DynamoDB in any architecture ever because it locks you into a single vendor and prevents high availability solutions? You probably learned that WAF is the way you want to secure your systems, but guess what? I can't use WAF on any enterprise, and here's the reason why. It's not adaptive in nature. So then you said you want to be a solution architect, so here's what you need to learn. Here's your list of skills. It's BGP, not how to configure it, how to design it. It's OSPF to some degree. It's IP addressing, subnetting, supernetting, route summarization, and route aggregation. None of this is stuff covered in the advanced network even. It's switching, which means VLANs, VLAN tagging, VLAN trunking, spanning tree, rapid spanning tree, port channel, ether channel, link aggregation groups, because this is what we're dealing with. It has to do with NAT, and it's not the NAT that you see in your AWS certifications. It's one-to-one NAT, one-to-many NAT, static NAT, dynamic NAT PAT, or NAT overload. It's DNS, DHCP, ARP, proxy, ARP, those things. And on the cloud side, you need to learn server and server virtualization and container orchestration and block storage, object storage, file storage. And because cloud storage performs so slowly, how do you work around those limitations? It's the business applications that improve performance of businesses, CRM systems, ERP systems, unified communications, to say the least. Then it's databases, NoSQL databases versus relational databases. And then it's learning the real security stuff that comes from Cisco and Fortinet and Checkpoint and Palo Alto systems, like next generation firewalls, intrusion detection, and intrusion prevention systems. And on top of that, because we don't configure anything in our jobs, we design and present it and sell it. Well, you got to have the presentation skills to present in front of an executive audience. got to have the presentation skills to present at conferences, because we do that every day. You need to learn executive writing skills. Now, Ben, we don't design any architecture yourself. I've never done a single architecture by myself in my life in the last 25 years as an architect. I've got to go build a team. As they say in Africa, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So to do anything great, I got to go build a team, which means I've got to be able to lead a team and sell the management of my company to give me the people for that team. Then what I need to do is, nobody buys tech because they like it, other than we techies. We love it. It's cool, right? But businesses don't. So we have to build a business case to show the customer, hey, Mike, if I invest $1 billion in your solution, I'm going to get $2 or $3 billion of business value. Because not only do I have to prove that it's going to work, I have to prove that if they spend the money on my solution, they're going to better investment than if they spent the same money on somebody else's solution. And then I got to learn how to sell the thing to them, and I got to learn how to negotiate a sale. So those are the key components to our business. And now you also have to understand the underlying technology, because you can't move stuff that you don't understand. And then you've got to learn the cloud technology, hybrid clouds, multi-clouds. 80% of customers are on more than one cloud. So Ben, I encourage you to take our How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar, and we'll tell you exactly what to do. But understand, this is a professional job. I mean, a real professional. There's $800,000 architect jobs out there, and I can show you some right now. And the point is when you're dealing with jobs that can pay you $600,000, $700,000, $800,000, and they're not that hard to get after a couple of years experience. The point is they have expectations of you, and those expectations aren't that you're Mr. Certified. So I'll just show you one more thing, and then we'll go to the next question. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we deal with constantly as architects. These are the kind of roles that you can prepare for if you prepare properly. If I can actually figure out how to share this thing. Oh, bear with me 1 second. So, I mean, I like to share this so you get a concept of architecture jobs. Here's an architecture job. Now you can see it pays very well, but it has nothing to do with what's taught in certification.
Nothing.
It has everything to do with designing solutions to solve business problems. So that's the key issue to get hired. You've got to be a business professional and a tech professional, and it has nothing to do with certifications. Come to the thing on Wednesday. We could easily train you and get you hired as a solution architect. We do it almost every day, even in today's environment.
And that's on Thursday, by the way.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. We've got another question here from Style Plus. As a network engineer, now I want to go the cloud security architect route. Would learning system admin while learning cloud be a good start, or what would be the best approach step by step, please, and thanks?
So Style Plus, architects don't ever touch the technology. Never. They design, present, and sell the technology to solve a business problem. If you learn systems administration and you have sysadmin on your resume, guess what's going to happen? They're going to think of you more of a techie and less of an architect. So honestly, when somebody starts in help desk or system administration, we have to do incredible amounts of branding on them. Yeah. So if you want to be security and you're already in networking, you could do that. So on the networking side, make sure you learn a lot about switching and micro segmentation and 802.1x and quality of service, because that's going to help you on the security side. Get really good at packet filtering. And on the networking side, you'll have the opportunity often to work with next generation firewalls, VPN concentrators, IDS, IPS systems. Get your experience with that. But then you're going to need to learn the business components, Style Plus, and how to design. See, when you do a Cisco certified network professional, for example, it's all about how do you configure. Architects don't configure, they design. So, certifications will only get you 5% of the way, but the CISSP certification will be a helpful cloud security one. Don't waste your time with the nonsense of like an AWS advanced security. That's not even an intro to junior level security, and it's all irrelevant. But the CISSP would be a good start. But what you're going to have to learn is the same presentation skills, sales skills, communication skills, executive presence skills. That's the stuff that makes you an architect. The business acumen. And learn security principles, like learn about identity and access management, learn about next generation firewalls, intrusion detection, intrusion prevention systems, learn about, social engineering and preventing that, learn about security policies and procedures and things like that, learn about how systems are locked down, for example, whether it's host-based firewalls disabling unnecessary services or things like that. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Those are the kind of things that you need to learn, encryption strategies. So those would be the kind of things. But if you want to learn how to be a cloud security architect, attend our How to Get Your First Cloud Job webinar on Thursday. You can be like Delroy Batt, who never worked in technology in his life and has 0 cloud certifications, by the way, who we got actually 3 cloud security architect jobs, and he accepted 1 and turned down 2. And the 2 that he turned down were big name, big 4 consulting firms. So you get cloud security architects like Robert Welch hired every single day. We'd love to get you one as well.
All right. So Cookie Monster asked a question. Says, I am torn between the engineer and the architect. Is there a way to start learning that would benefit me in either role once I've gained more insight? I understand that they are different roles.
Yeah, Cookie. If I may, Chris.
Please,
Well,
Chris.
it's something that I get asked a lot. I haven't had the chance to bring it up to Alonzo or Mike yet, but it's something that I've started to see more recently. It's people completely new. They don't know which one they're interested in yet, so they're like, what can I do? How can I learn without picking, and then be able, and obviously not go completely down the path and then decide. Right. But like, is there a way? How might they address that situation?
Well, I definitely think we have a tremendous amount of resources already available for you, Cookie Monster, right here on YouTube. That helps to differentiate the difference between what a cloud architect is and a cloud engineer, what the expectations are, what the role is, what it entails. Are you more interested in tech? Are you not? Are you more comfortable with customer-facing roles, or you prefer more of the behind-the-scenes implementation? There's tons of resources, again, right here on our YouTube channel. And reason why I say and refer to going and looking at that information, Cookie Monster, is because once you state, like you said, you understand that there are 2 different roles. However, if you go down the path of go down the path of being an architect or an engineer, and you don't like that, that's what we call opportunity costs, and that's wasted time against wasted daily money that you would get if you stayed focused or made a determination on what you wanted to do. So as of now, the average salary of a cloud architect is $195K a year. So you do the breakdown and divide that by 2,080 hours, which is an actual, those are the hours worked per year. That breakdown would be the equivalent of you wasting, quote unquote, wasting time going down a path that you're not sure about. So I highly recommend that you focus and look at our resources, make a determination from there, and then decide on what's best for you.
Right. All right. Let me get back to the comments here. All right. So Carlo says, what is the most challenging aspect of learning how to sell the solution?
That's a good one.
I don't think there's anything challenging about it, Carlo, if you have the right communication skills, you have the right CXO relevancy, you know how to how to write a business case, you know how to present to executives, and you know how to sell. I think it's simple. But yes, I had training for that. It doesn't come out of certification training, for example, ever. So, I did it, and I went to about, don't laugh, I have a $250,000 education, which is why I teach people the way I do, and we get the results that we do. But to be fair, in our training program, we have 3 MBAs right now. We have some with a master's degree in economics. We have some with a master's degree in law. We have 2 PhD business school professors, and we have somewhere else. So keep that in the back of your mind. I think it's simple. But here's the thing. Before I learned how to practice internal medicine as a nurse practitioner, I thought that was tough. And after somebody taught me, it was cake. In fact, I didn't even realize it. A friend called me the other day, he wasn't feeling well. The next thing I realized, I treated his condition, and he was better. But to me, I didn't even realize I was doing it. So with the right training, it's all there.
All right, so we got several more questions from Carlo that I'm gonna knock out real fast. So Carlo says, how does your program work? Does it focus on one cloud and which one? Who wants to take this one? Short answer. Long answer is join our webinar on Thursday, but who wants to tackle the short answer for this?
I'll tackle the short answer. If you only know one cloud, it's a great step towards the unemployment line. 80% of customers use more than one cloud. 97% say they want to use more than one cloud. If you only know one cloud, there's no jobs for you in the entire world. Because when you're dealing with customers, they're going to have their own clouds like OpenStack and Nutanix. So what we do is we teach you how to design, present, and sell in every component of the cloud architect, from the tech fundamentals to the selling fundamentals to the presentation fundamentals to everything you need to know. We have 3 live classes per week. 2 of them are focused on architecture. 1 is focused on the sales and leadership and interviewing and even salary negotiation. And that's why it's common for our students to get a $100,000 raise. And you can be like Bob Welch, who was here and he told you that in addition to his great raise, he negotiated an additional $20,000 on the salary based on just our salary negotiation skills. So $120,000 raise off of a training program that costs less than $1,000. That's a pretty good return on investment. So we do that. So what we have is we have live classes on Zoom. In between live classes, there's lots of work that you can programs for you to do that teaches you all the skills. And then we have labs. Sure, we do some stuff on AWS. No big deal. Everybody does that. That's not going to get you hired. Sure, we do some stuff on Azure. That's not going to get you hired either. But then there's real labs where somebody else is worrying about how to build an S3 bucket. In our program, you're going to build your own cloud. You're going to work with Active Directory servers, the real stuff, the heavy duty stuff. And we'll also create an internship for all of our students. You've got real experience too. So by the time you finish our program 8 to 12 months from now, the world's going to want you and you're going to have all the skills to do the job.
And by the way, register for our webinar on Thursday where you can learn exactly how our program works. All right. Taku says, are there any differences between a solution architect and a cloud architect?
Yeah.
Lonzo, you want to answer that?
Yes, Mr. Owemo. Let's break that down. Solution architect versus cloud architect. Solution architect, you only know how to drive one particular car. You only know how to drive a Ford. That's all you know how to drive. Versus a cloud architect, they know how to drive a Ford, Porsche. They know how to drive trucks. They know how to drive everything. Solutions architects are specific to cloud service providers. Say, for instance, all you know is AWS. And a business leader, they want to innovate based on Mike. He gave you some really strong percentages on what companies want to be multi-cloud. And if you only know one, you just pigeonhole yourself out of a position, out of an opportunity, out of a job. So understanding that the cloud architect encompasses everything beyond cloud service providers into tech-savvy, tech-relevant opportunities for architects to really help customers. So to your point, solution architect, that's a small drop in the larger realm of being a cloud architect.
All right. Next question is from CC Lemon. Hi, Mike. Will BGP or OSPF or what you mentioned in tech disappear?
No. You can't even connect to the cloud without BGP. The entire internet is based upon BGP, how internet service providers connect to each other. And guess what? Inside of these networks, not only do they have to run an interior gateway protocol such as OSPF or intermediate systems to intermediate systems, you need that to be able to run your label switching protocol, whether it be tag switching or label switching for your MPLS network, for you to create your traffic engineering tunnels, for then you to create your IBGP and eBGP pairing. So maybe 200 years from now, sure.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was about to say. I was going to say, well, to be fair, we might have a disruptor like the news today about the nuclear fusion thing. Like, nobody sees that coming, and boom.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay.
But to be seriously fair, the network has changed very little since 1985 to today. Only the speeds and feeds have gone up. And guess what? Today's modern cloud, you want a really funny thing, is really about the network and the data centers equivalents about 10 years ago. It's barely catching up each day.
All right. Yeah, it's like, will it disappear? I mean, eventually. I mean, everything
Eventually,
changes.
but not today. And
I mean, the
tomorrow's
horse
not
and
looking
buggy,
good either.
horse and buggy worked for a very long time.
Still does in Amish country.
Yeah. I mean, it still works. It's just not as efficient. Oh, well, depends on the definition of efficient. All right. Stefan says, should I just learn AWS for now and a programming language like Python later on, or do it simultaneously? What do you want? What do you want?
Yes.
What do you
Let's
want?
break that down. Yeah. You got to ask
that,
yourself.
like we need to know what you want to do.
Yes.
And then we can answer the question.
For example, if you're a cloud architect, it's a complete and total waste of your time to learn coding because you're never going to code in your entire life. But if you want to be a cloud engineer, it's a pretty important thing for you to do. So what career do you want? When we can help you.
And we also refer again, like we did before, please check out our content on our YouTube page. There's tons and tons of resources to let everyone or share with everyone how to take that first step if you're not sure about what direction you want to go in.
All right, Style Plus. What do you think about the Aviatrix multi-cloud network security and their program? Ooh, that's a lot of words.
Okay, so Style Plus Aviatrix Multi-Cloud Security Access is a secure access, secure edge solution. There are an incredible number of great secure access and secure edge solutions. Now, if you wanted to be a solution architect like you told me, or a cloud security architect, you're talking certifications. That's a piece of paper. Certifications don't create cloud architects. They're not relevant. So here's what I'm going to hang up for you. This is my family nurse practitioner license graduate when I got it about 19, 20 years ago. If I told you there was more in common from that than a certification, because the certification is the name of the service and how to configure that service, at least that taught me internal medicine. Patient came into the office, it taught me how to ask the person the right questions. It gave me the fundamental knowledge base, so I even know how to come up with a diagnosis and then treat it. But if you saw someone that had a medical certification, would you think that would make them an architect? You'd laugh. Now, we hiring managers laugh when we see someone that gets a certification and think that's going to help them design a solution, because certification teaches construction. So, for example, I want you to think of it this way. If I taught you how to use a hammer, a nail gun, a screwdriver, and a saw, and then I asked you to design a 100-story hotel, do you think learning how to use that hammer would prepare you? No. It'd turn you into a construction worker.
Right.
So these Aviatrix multi-cloud certifications are fantastic if you want to be a construction worker, like an engineer. But if your goal is to be a cloud security architect, architects don't touch the technology. They design, present, and sell it. So it's just waste of your time, effort, and resources.
All right. Carlos says, how does it work for a multi-cloud solution? Is there a control plane to manage the interaction between the different cloud providers? It's a good question.
Carlo, it's a lot more complicated than that. So first you have to design your architecture, and all architectures need a network. And whether you use a solution like Aviatrix, whether you're using routers and BGP, whether you're using any kind of other forms of transfer you want, you have to make the architectural decisions. What are those architectural decisions based upon? The business requirement. What are the latency requirements? Do you have an application that needs latency? Do you have to push an IP multicast feed through the cloud where you need DRE tunneling, where you need your own private WAN where you can run PIM sparse mode and allow IGMP messages to go from the LAN to create your shared keys? So the key is it's all based upon what's your goal and what do you need? So it's kind of like Carlo. What's the treatment for someone with chest pain? Well, it depends. Is the chest pain a heart attack? Is the chest pain muscular? Is the chest pain related to angina? Is the chest pain related to anxiety? You got to know what the problem is. So that's half of the architect's job is to get requirements, at least 50% of the job. So that answer I could spend the next 16 weeks on, depending upon what those business requirements are. And that's why architecture is about communication and building teams and leading teams. You can't learn this all. Not even if you tried in 10 lifetimes, unless you're a vampire and you can live for the next 15,000 years. You can only learn your job and master your job. So that's why architects need leadership skills. So kind of keep that.
All right, Lando Bando says, I am currently a customer success specialist, so I'm constantly driving adoption, cross-selling, and upselling at my SaaS company. How much overlap exists with that and what an architect does?
A lot more than if you were a cloud engineer, but I'd say 30, 40%. Customer success typically has good communication skills. They typically have medium communication skills, and they typically have medium sales skills. And I've been a customer success director, so I know exactly what the role requires. Having said that, this is much more sales skills. This is much more building business cases. This is much more deep knowledge in the fundamental to know what you're going to design. And this is a lot more executive presence and CXO relevancy. So much better than an engineering background, but you'd still need training. But I'd say 50% overlap, and that's a lot of overlap. A lot of overlap. And you guys are easy to transition.
All right, so Style Plus says it's easier to go from network engineer to cloud architect and sysadmin to cloud architect.
Oh my God, it's so much easier. Sysadmin roles are the hardest jobs to get into anything. Because what happens is people have this in their mind that a sysadmin is a person with Coke bottle thick glasses that hides in the corner that you have to bring in food for because you can't let them be seen in public. I didn't say it's true, but that's the perception. And sysadmins configure the systems. Now, network engineers know the network, and the network is half of the cloud. The cloud's nothing more than a network in a data center, so it's not even in comparison.
CC Lemon says, what is an enterprise network? Is it critical to a great cloud architect?
It's impossible to be a cloud architect if you don't know what an enterprise network is and how it works. An enterprise network has all the routers and switches and the protocols, like interior gateway protocols, exterior gateway protocols. It's all the WAN links, whether they be Ethernet or serial lines or optical links or any kind of link that they would be. It's how to traffic engineer the traffic, where your systems plug in. Kind of like the foundation of the house. No network means nothing works. And what are the funniest things, CC Lemon? It's the last thing people think, teach, learn.
Yeah, that's ironic, Mike, because I always remind people when they talk about networking is that would you want to live in a house with no plumbing?
That's exactly what it's like. Or electric.
Exactly, or electric, especially those two. So you cannot, you can't get anywhere without a freeway. You can't get anywhere without those connecting circuits that go from here to the fuse box or whatever, let alone the plumbing if it's not going to the main aqueduct and viaduct waste areas. You know, can you imagine how things would be without those proper connections? So as Mike, and I'm sure that he would co-sign along with Chris, learn the networking and everything else about the cloud will fall into place.
Learn the networking, but I'm not talking certification knowledge.
No,
I mean real knowledge.
Real knowledge, and we teach that here. You're not going to learn it on any. I have a certification in aviation. I have a certification in AWS, and I've gone through that. I've read the questions over and over again, and they do not teach what is so necessary to become a cloud architect, and we provide that here. Those are so many nuances in those certifications that are focused more on the positioning is that they are the end all to be all. You're not going to need anything, and some of those questions in the exam only focus on remedial references to third-party providers. That's all there is. Other than that, it's going to be nothing but AWS, and I'm not dogging or otherwise criticizing AWS. However, in a real scenario, you're going to need far more than those resources.
All right. Carlos says that you said architects don't touch the tech, but we still need to learn the tech before we can use it in a solution right. What are the techs we need to learn? Thursday.
Exactly.
Now, Carlo, I did give you a list of each and everything in the beginning of this presentation. I listed it step by step. But if you missed it for some reason, you can come to the webinar on Thursday and get that list again.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the reason we keep referring to Thursday is because it's such a long list. It takes us 15 or so minutes to go through the entire list.
And I spent 50
and
minutes.
that's just to give you the list, not to actually give you any knowledge about any part of the list. That's just to give you the list.
But I'm going to make it very clear to you, Carlo, if you only learn the tech, you'll never be an architect either, because the architect is 50% tech and 50% business. If you only learn the tech, you can learn engineering. You'll be an engineer. That's the difference.
All right. So Manu says, do you teach networking before the cloud training, or you teach both simultaneously? Already having a CCNA, and I never got a job with it. All my networking knowledge has faded now. Help. It's all, I don't know if simultaneous is the word, but it's all interconnected. Everything, you learn everything.
We teach
We
everything.
suggest starting with the networking because it's the basic fundamental. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of content in our program.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to start with networking, if you're like, whoa, networking's a little too much, like I am, you can start with storage. You can start on the data center side, and as opposed to the networking side. But it all works together. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to know all of it.
You're going to have to know all of it. And no certification is ever going to get anybody a job. There is one exception. If you become a CCIE, which is 75,000 pages of reading, and you're not going to get there without spending at least $10,000 minimum doing that, that will get you a network engineer job. Won't get you an architect job, but it'll get you a network engineer job. But there is no other certification in the world that will ever get you a job on its own.
All right. And just to let everybody know, we will be wrapping up in about 10 minutes. So make sure if you've been holding on to any questions, make sure you ask them in the chat box. All right. Sam Heat says, how do you exit students out of your program? Is there a test at the end, a capstone project, or just the internship you mentioned? You're out of the program when you get a job. And that's only if you choose to be out of the program.
Right.
We have people that are working that still come back to classes.
Right.
So this is something that we've attempted not to do, and I got a feeling that that's going to change next year with some changes that we're making with our content. We've attempted not to have a certification or a what's the word, badge or whatever, because our philosophy is none of it matters unless you get a job.
Yes.
So we exit students by celebrating your job that you've received. That's how we exit you. If we exit you, we don't exit anybody. I'd love to hear Alonzo's and Mike's thoughts on that. I'll let Alonzo go first.
Well, let me tell you, Sam Heat, first of all, once what we call cloud hired, that is our graduation, you stay until you are ready. So normally at the minimum, we normally keep everyone for 12 months because we understand this is a lot of information you have to retain. So we like to ensure that everyone is ready, prepared to get into that interview, successfully come out of there as a job. This is not traditional school where you have to start with a semester and then you might miss a particular web class and then you have to play catch up. This is not our standard. This is not our model. We want to make sure that everyone learns, and each of those 3 classes are standalone. So if you can't make it, if you can make it, put your camera on, let's engage, let's show us what you got, and you learn within a great environment. If you're not able to do that and you're at work, turn us on. Maybe you can listen and whistle while you work, and then you can refer to us later on with any questions. Or if you can't make it at all, there's always going to be recorded sessions 24 hours later. Check that out at your own convenience. If you have questions, come back to the next class because we're always ready to answer your questions and engage with everyone there. So there is no exit to the program. We want to make sure you're hired. We don't want to certify you. We want to get you hired. And that's a big difference.
Yeah,
Mike?
and to us, it's about changing lives and creating wealth for you and your future generations. look, we had Delray bad. He spent close to $10,000 on a useless certification course, couldn't get a job. He came to us. We retrained him, and now he's a cloud security architect. We had Daniel Bosu, who didn't even graduate high school, who wasted $35,000 on some horrible thing to help him level up in tech. And in the end, he was completely unemployable. I interviewed him beforehand, and I was so sad when he told me he spent that kind of money for the disgusting training that he got. I completely retrained him, and now he's a cloud architect over at JP Morgan Chase. He's one of the finest young men I've ever met. I wish he was my son. I like the kid so much. So the point of us is I want you hired, and I want you earning money, and I want you to have a great life. And I can't say that you're going to be done in 16 weeks just because I took your money. That's not right. It's not fair. That's disgraceful. We put you in a program and kind of leave you in a holding pattern where you can attend the live classes without paying extra for a full year because I want you hired. To me, it's all about changing your life.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, the whole idea of a exit. I don't like that thought of an exit because everyone's familiar with the boot camp product type thing where you get 12 weeks or 16 weeks or 20 weeks. So you have only 12 weeks or 16 weeks or 20 weeks to figure it out. That's it.
No pressure.
And you spend 30 grand on it or 20 grand on it, and
out you go.
That's all you get.
Yeah.
After that, you're partnered with a I forget what they call them, a placement consultant or something that kind of, pardon my French, half a double S E S it, and they just mail it in and spend like 30 minutes a week with you to just to mark off a checkbox to say that they're helping you in your placement search.
Right.
And yeah, after that 12 or 16 or 20 week period, they really couldn't care more.
This is not a puppy mill. This is not a pipeline. No.
Yeah. So we don't exit anybody.
No.
Sorry. I do exit interviews because I don't know what else to call them. I think I'll start calling them cloud hired interviews. But Aisha says, what is your advice to cloud architects to deal with challenging projects? How can we make our approach best? Hey, Alonzo, I think we should probably do a class about project management.
Works for me.
We got a couple of recordings in the program actually about that.
Yes.
But I'm not sure that's the question she's asking. Aisha Fatima, you've got a very common African name. So in Africa, there's an expression. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This is why you need leadership skills. You will never, ever, ever in your entire life, if you're a company architect, ever do anything on your own. You will build a team. Now, which do you think my customer wants to hear? Hi, Mr. CEO. I'm 10x AWS certified and I designed this. I've got lots of experience. Or Alonzo's the CEO. Hi, Alonzo. I want to let you know that I had 50 of the most strategic and experienced professional architects design your solution to make sure we can positively impact your business. What do you think Alonzo wants to know? I'm smart and I'm certified, or I have 50 experts on it. Build your network, build your executive communication skills, build your leadership skills like we have, and then run your project. You're never, ever, ever going to do this alone. And if you do, guess what? You won't be working as an architect for very long.
And also, I might think you're a cloud architect, but you have to think from a business transformative perspective. You have to think about how you're going to use that tech to change the business and not be bogged down by the tech, but how it can be utilized, because these are what the questions are going to be asked for you and your team. So look at it from that perspective, because assume that all of them are going to be challenging, because none of them are going to be cookie cutter. None of them are going to be the same. So look at it from that perspective, come up with a strategy with your team, start plugging and playing on how it's going to be executable, and you're going to be in a good space.
All right. Let's see. Our next question is from CC Lemon. Is it important for cloud architect to know what is EVPN?
Oh, yeah.
Network engineer told me we run it in our company.
If you can't figure out how to deal with remote access and VPNs, you can't be a cloud architect. If you don't know networking, you can't be a cloud architect. You don't have to code, because we don't code, but if you don't know networking, you can't design or build, you can't design anything.
And that's one of the definitely the parallels. If you don't know networking, you can't be a cloud architect. If you don't know networking, you can't be an engineer. So understand that is the tie that binds. That is so important for you to learn, is to understand all the nuances with EVPN, BGP, all of the things that Mike specialized in and has tons of experience in. Learn it. That's I can't stress it enough.
All right. Let's see here. Next question, Style Plus. And as a reminder, everybody, we'll be wrapping up in just a few minutes. Style Plus says, as a security architect, do I need to be proficient at Linux?
Style Plus, design, present, and sell. Yeah. Do you hear Linux any part of that? So, I think it's because the certification providers that never worked as architects were spreading all these false rumors. It got so bad that what happened was Gartner started asking CIOs, what do you want in an architect? Because we keep hearing coding and all this non-architect stuff. And they told you, and they said, here's what we want in a cloud architect, published in CIO magazine. A cloud architect leads the cultural change for cloud adoption, develops and coordinates the cloud architecture, develops a cloud strategy and coordinates the adoption process, finds talent with the necessary skills, assess application software and hardware, creates a cloud broker team, establishes best practice for the cloud across the company, selects cloud providers and vets third-party services, oversees governance and mitigates risk, works closely with the IT security people to monitor privacy and develop incident response procedures, manage budgets and estimate costs and operate at scale. No touching the tech ever. Now, you do need to know how a Linux system would be secured, for example, and you do need to understand how the Linux kernel works, but that's conceptual knowledge, not hands-on. Architects never touch the tech.
All right. So, we're just going to do a couple of questions left that have come in. Forca asks, Mike, what is your forecast on cloud computing remote jobs in Africa? Give us a 30 second.
Big, and I'm going to tell you why. Yeah. In many parts of Africa, we have a lot of people that are highly educated that are willing to work very hard. People in Africa, many of them were educated under the British system, which means they speak very good English with a minimal accent compared to others in the world, which makes them easier to understand. So lots of education, an incredible work ethic and desire to be great, and no language barriers for the most part, because we've got French, common language, English, common language, and Arabic, a common language, pretty much covers all of Africa. And you can see the cloud providers investing heavily. New place in Nigeria with AWS, lots of investment in South Africa. So I see a lot of jobs coming to Africa. I have 2 employees in Africa right now, and I intend to hire more and more as we grow. Love working with the African community.
All right, so I'm going to answer this next one, and then we'll let Mike answer the last question. Sam says, I love how you gentlemen communicate. Do you all teach the classes directly, or are there other instructors who do the training? So at least the 3 people on this screen, plus Leo, Chow, Eddie, Anselm, Imran, Praveen with the occasional class. And then we've got Dr. Johnson and Dr. Long from the University of Tennessee system. So that's about eight instructors that we've got.
And Anthony, yeah, we keep throwing them out there.
With more than 100 years combined experience.
Right. So, for our soft skills and leadership, you'll have people that are experts in soft skills and leadership. For networking, you'll have people that are experts in networking, so on and so forth. So it's you got Mike, you got me, you got Alonzo, you got an entire team of people behind us, but all of it goes through Mike in some way, shape, or form. He is a very his vision and philosophy is carried throughout all of our content. All right. Okay, we've already covered that. Okay, so there was a question that I saw that I got to answer. We got to answer. Oh, here it is. Hey, hi everyone. I'm new here and wanted to ask you a question. There's a reason I picked this one last. This is our last one. Can I get a cloud architect job without any experience in IT? And how long does it normally take? Thanks in advance.
Absolutely. I'm going to have my team pop in some examples. We had Delray Batt was an EMT who got hired. We had Jennifer, who was a mental health tech, who got hired. We had Jeffrey West, who was a geospatial imaging guy, who got hired. We had Coyote hired by AWS with no experience. Yvonne Tamba hired by AWS with no experience. I could go on and go on.
I'm just going to pop the playlist in there. I got a playlist. No, I don't want to spam the thing with a bunch of links.
But of course you can. Now, AA, you need architect training, not certification training, inclusive of the business, design, and every other thing. But we get students hired every single day with no experience.
Yep. And join us on Thursday.
Yeah.
And find out how.
Yes.
And welcome. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. So continue to watch us. We have so much more to share.
Yep. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'll start off by reminding everybody about our webinar on Thursday to find out how to get your first cloud architect job without experience. And we'll be able to take any of your questions. You can come off mute and ask questions. You can ask questions in the chat box with us. But you have to register at the link that's in the chat box and in the description, because it is not on YouTube. It is on our webinar platform. So make sure to register at that link. That'll be this Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm not going to try to do the time conversions. Daylight savings time messes with me, so I'm not going to try that. And also here in the U.S., we have some states that do it, some states that don't, some counties that do. Yeah, it's very confusing. So that will be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. Yes, it's standard right now, Eastern Standard Time. And we look forward to you joining us. Also, I wanted to make sure everybody gets their copy, the free copy of the exam guide.
Do not go to that link on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we give it away for free. Somebody decided to resell something that 150 of our people worked on.
Yeah.
Amazon is removing his link and taking action immediately. I can tell you that.
So free AWS exam guide, free AWS course. Make sure you get those. The link will be in the chat box. Thank you everybody for joining us. We've got a lot of exciting things coming soon. Make sure to keep in touch. Yes, Lady Godiva. That's one of the exciting things that I'm talking about. We got a lot of exciting things.
We got real exciting.
We got fun. We got fun, great things that we're doing, and then we got crazy things like people stealing our content, and lots of excitement around here. but yeah, we look forward to everything that we have in store for you. Make sure to keep joining us here. Hope y'all have a great day.
Definitely.
Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Oh, I forgot to take down this question. Sorry. Mike, any last words?
Yeah, my last words are this. And actually, there's no such thing as a beginning job before I get to my last words, our mix. My first job was a senior network engineer. We have students whose first job every single day is a solution architect. Every single day. There's no reason to start in a training job, ever.
No.
Everybody told me I couldn't be a network engineer, and instead my first job was a senior network engineer 20 years ago. We've got Delroy Batt, first job, called security architect, specialist architect. And I can give you example. My team just popped one in there. There's no such thing as a beginning job. The job that you train for is the job that you get. When I was younger and I started practicing medicine, it was my first job. Why? Because it's what I went to school for. An airplane pilot's first job is an airplane pilot, not a flight attendant, not an airplane mechanic. You don't learn on the job. You get trained and you get the job that you train for. So there's no such thing as a first job. It's what you train for, what your skill is. So my last words for you are find what you like, find what you love, and train for it like your life depended upon it. You know, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't try. And if you train hard with the right training, there is nothing you can't do. 7 years ago, or actually 10 years ago, doctors told me I would never walk again. 7 to 8 hours of physical therapy for 7 years straight. I'm running this company. You know what? There is nothing you can't do. Now, I may have to do 3 hours of physical therapy in a 160-degree special room that I had in my house, but I'm still here to help all of you. You can all do anything. There is nothing holding you back. Find the job that you want and run for it. The average cloud architect earns $800 a day, and that's just the beginning. Every day you wait or waste, you lost $800 a day. So if it cost you 10 days to wait, you lost $8,000. So learn the time value of money, learn the effort of exactly what you do, and go conquer your dreams. I don't care what they are. You want to be the best basket weaver and make millions selling baskets? Go do it. You want to be a cloud architect? Go do it. You want to be a rock star and you've got the ability and the given skills? Go do it. But just go after your dreams. I know how it ends. I practiced medicine for a long time. I've seen a lot of people on their deathbed. And let me tell you, the happiest ones were the ones that did what they wanted. And they lived the life to its fullest. So go live the life to your fullest. Go find out what you want and pursue your dreams and make every day your best day ever. Thank you all. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Bye, everybody. Thank you. See you on Thursday.
Thursday, please show up. You're going to love it.
You'll love it. And we can even speak face-to-face live.